The first thing she said to me wasn't hello or nice to meet you. It was, "You know this was supposed to be a joke, right? We're sitting in a coffee shop she picked, and she's looking at me like she's waiting for me to confess something. I have no idea what she's talking about. My buddy Jake convinced me to download that dating app, said I needed to get out more. I'd been messaging her for about a week. Normal stuff, nothing heavy. She seemed interesting, calm, so we agreed to meet up. But now, sitting here across from her, I realize something's off. She's nervous in a way I can't quite place. There's something in her eyes, not fear exactly, but caution, like she's testing whether I'm safe. I tell her I don't understand. She takes a breath and explains that her friend made the profile as a prank, that she never actually wanted to be here. But then she stops, looks at me again and says quietly, "But I also don't want to leave." Her hands are wrapped around her coffee cup like it's the only thing keeping her grounded. I don't say anything right away. I just wait. "I'm sorry," she adds quickly. "This is weird. I shouldn't have." "It's okay," I interrupt gently. "You're here now." She blinks, like she wasn't expecting that. I didn't know it then, but that would be the most honest conversation I'd have in years. Let me start from the beginning. I moved back to my hometown 2 years ago. It wasn't planned, it just happened. My parents had passed a few years before that, and the house sat empty for a while until I finally sold it. I didn't have much tying me to the city anymore, and the rent was getting ridiculous. So I packed up and came back to the place I grew up. Found a small apartment on the east side, 1 bedroom, quiet neighbors. Nothing fancy, but it was mine. I work as a maintenance technician for a property management company. Small commercial buildings mostly, offices, a couple of medical practices, a dental clinic. I fix HVAC units, replace breakers, patch drywall, swap out fixtures. It's honest work, steady. I show up at 7, check my list, and move building to building throughout the day. Most of the time I eat lunch in my truck. A sandwich, maybe some chips, scroll through my phone for 20 minutes, then get back to it. The job's fine. It pays the bills, but it's solitary. I see people, receptionists, office managers, the occasional tenant with a complaint. But I'm not really with anyone, you know. I'm the guy who shows up, fixes the problem, and leaves. I don't mind it most days. I've always been comfortable with quiet. Evenings are simple. I get home around 5, shower, make something to eat. I'm not much of a cook, but I can manage the basics. Chicken, rice, vegetables, pasta when I'm lazy. I'll watch a game if one's on or put on a podcast while I clean up. Weekends, I go for long walks around the reservoir or drive out to the state park if the weather's decent. Sometimes Jake drags me out to a bar, but mostly I stay in, read a little, sleep early, wake up and do it again. It's not a bad life. It's just flat, like I'm moving through it without really touching it. I tried dating a couple of years ago when I first got back. Went out with a woman I met at the hardware store. Nice enough, but we didn't have much to talk about. Tried the apps for a while after that. Swiped here and there, had a few conversations that went nowhere. One coffee date with someone who spent the whole hour talking about her ex. Another with a woman who seemed disappointed the moment she saw me, like I didn't match whatever picture she had in her head. After a while, I just stopped trying. Not out of bitterness or anything like that. I just didn't have the energy for it anymore. It felt like work, and I already had enough of that. Jake didn't see it that way. He's my oldest friend. We grew up on the same street, played baseball together in high school. He's one of those people who's always in motion, always got something going on. He'd call me up every few weeks, tell me I was wasting my prime sitting around alone. I'd laugh it off, but he was persistent. One night, we're having beers at his place, and he brings it up again. "Man, you gotta get back out there," he says, leaning back in his chair. "You're gonna turn into one of those guys who talks to his houseplants." I don't have houseplants. Exactly. That's even worse. I rolled my eyes, but he kept going. Pulled out his phone, opened up a dating app, and started walking me through it like I was some kind of technophobe. "Just make a profile," he said. "Swipe a little, see what happens. What's the worst that could happen?" I didn't have a good answer for that, so I gave in. Took a couple of decent photos, wrote a bio that didn't sound too desperate or too boring, and tossed it out into the void. I didn't expect much. For a week or so, nothing happened. A few matches here and there, but no real conversations. Then her profile came up. It was simple. A couple of photos. Nothing overly staged, just her sitting outside somewhere with sunglasses on. Another one of her laughing at something off camera. Her bio was short. Still figuring it out. Probably always will be. I liked that. It felt honest. I sent her a message. Something low pressure, just a comment about one of her photos. She replied a few hours later. We started talking. Nothing deep at first. Work, the weather, bad TV shows we were both watching. But she was funny in this quiet, clever way. She didn't try too hard. Neither did I. After a few days, I asked if she wanted to meet up for coffee. She said yes. I showed up 10 minutes early, ordered a black coffee, and sat by the window. I wasn't nervous exactly, but I was. Aware. Like I'd forgotten what this was supposed to feel like. Then she walked in. And the first thing she said was, "You know this was supposed to be a joke, right? Before I tell you what happened next, do me a favor. Drop a comment and let me know where you're listening from. I love hearing from you all. And if you're finding this worthwhile, hit that like button and subscribe. It really helps me keep bringing you these stories. Now, let me tell you what changed everything." She sits down across from me, sets her bag on the chair beside her, and wraps both hands around the coffee cup I'd already ordered for her. Black, 2 sugars like she'd mentioned in one of our messages. She doesn't take a sip right away, just holds it. "I need to be honest with you," she says, her voice quieter now. "My best friend made that profile, not me." I blink. "What do you mean?" "I mean," she hesitates, looking down at the table. "She literally set it up without asking me. Said it was exposure therapy or something. She thought I needed to get back out there, but I never actually planned on doing this, meeting anyone." I sit back in my chair trying to process that. "So you didn't want to be on the app at all?" "No." She shakes her head quickly. "I mean, not at first, but then I saw your messages. And I read them and—" She trails off, biting her lip. "I don't know, you seemed safe." Safe. The word hangs in the air between us. "I almost canceled 3 times this morning," she admits, finally looking up at me. Her eyes are tired, but there's something earnest in them. "I kept thinking this was a terrible idea, that I shouldn't have led you on, that it wasn't fair to you. But you came anyway," I say. "Yeah." She exhales slowly. "I did." We sit in silence for a moment. The cafe hums around us. Someone ordering at the counter. The hiss of the espresso machine. Low music playing overhead. She's watching me like she's waiting for me to get up and leave. Like she's bracing for disappointment. I lean forward a little, keeping my voice steady. "So what do you want to do now?" She blinks, surprised by the question. I don't know." "Well," I say, picking up my own cup, "we're already here. We've got coffee. How about we just talk? No pressure, no expectations. Just 2 people having a conversation." Her shoulders drop slightly like she's been holding tension there this whole time. "You're not mad?" "Why would I be mad?" "Because I just told you this whole thing was a mistake." "You didn't say that," I correct gently. "You said your friend made the profile. That's different." She stares at me for a beat, then lets out a small, surprised laugh. It's the first real smile I've seen from her. "You're weirdly calm about this." "Yeah, well," I shrug. "I'm not in a hurry." She takes a sip of her coffee, and I can see her starting to relax. Just a little. We talk for the next hour. Nothing heavy at first. She tells me about her job in digital marketing, how she's been doing it for 5 years and is completely burned out, how she feels like she's always performing, always on, even when she's off the clock. I tell her about my work, about fixing air conditioners in July heat and getting called out at midnight because someone's heater died in February. She laughs when I describe the time I had to crawl through a drop ceiling to find a mystery leak, only to discover someone had been using the space to hide an old mini fridge. "Why would anyone do that?" she asks, grinning now. "No idea, but it was still plugged in." She shakes her head, still smiling. "That's insane. It feels easy, natural, like we've skipped past the awkward first date script and landed somewhere more real." When she finally checks her phone and realizes we've been sitting there for over an hour, she looks genuinely surprised. "I should probably go," she says, but she doesn't move right away. "Yeah," I say. "Me too." We stand up, gather our things. As we walk toward the door, she stops and turns to me. "Thank you," she says, "for not making this weird." "It wasn't weird," I reply. "It was honest." She smiles again, a softer one this time. "If you want to do this again sometime, I think I'd like that." "Yeah," I say. "I'd like that too." She walks to her car and I watch her go. As I get into my truck, I realize I'm smiling. I didn't know it then, but that honesty, that willingness to just be, would become the foundation of everything that came next. We text that night. Nothing heavy. She sends me a picture of her cat sprawled across her laptop keyboard with the caption, "My coworker is the worst." I send back a photo of the toolbox I left open in my living room with. Mine isn't much better. It's easy, light, the kind of back and forth that doesn't feel like work. 3 days later, we meet again. This time, it's a walk at the park near the reservoir. She shows up in jeans and a hoodie, hair pulled back, no makeup. She looks more relaxed than she did at the coffee shop. "So," she says as we start down the path, "I told my friend about our date." "Yeah, what did she say?" "She's taking full credit." She laughs. "Said she knew we'd hit it off." "Did she?" "No." She grins. "She was just hoping I'd leave the apartment." We walk for a while, talking about nothing in particular. She points out a dog that looks like a mop. I tell her about the time I had to rescue a raccoon from an air duct. She asks if I was scared. I tell her the raccoon was more scared of me. "I don't know," she says, smiling. "Raccoons are scrappy. So am I when I need to be." She laughs and it feels good. Natural. As we circle back toward the parking lot, she gets quieter, more thoughtful. "Can I ask you something?" she says. "Sure. Why'd you stay? At the coffee shop, I mean." "After I told you the whole thing was a setup, I think about it for a second. Because you were honest, and because I didn't have anywhere else I needed to be." She nods slowly, like she's processing that. "Most people would have left." "Maybe," I say. "But I'm not most people." She looks at me for a moment and I can see something shift in her expression, like she's letting her guard down just a little more. Over the next couple of weeks, we fall into a rhythm. Saturday morning coffee, Sunday walks, a couple of weeknight dinners at casual spots. Nothing fancy, just tacos or pizza. We text throughout the day. She sends me memes about how much she hates Zoom meetings. I send her photos of weird repair jobs. One time I find a full-size inflatable flamingo wedged behind a water heater. She doesn't believe me until I send proof. "Why do you have the most chaotic job?" she texts back. "Keeps it interesting," I reply. One Saturday, she mentions that her kitchen sink has been dripping for weeks, and she keeps forgetting to call someone. "I can take a look," I offer. "You don't have to do that." "I know, but I'm pretty good at sinks." She hesitates, then says, "Okay, if you're sure." Her apartment is small, cozy, lots of plants on the windowsill, books stacked on the coffee table, a blanket draped over the couch. It feels lived in, comfortable. The sink fix takes about 20 minutes, just a worn-out washer. I replace it, test the faucet, and it stops dripping. "You're a magician," she says, leaning against the counter. "Hardly. It's just a washer." Still, she smiles. "Thank you. Anytime." She offers to make dinner as a thank you. I tell her she doesn't need to, but she insists. We end up in her kitchen together, her chopping vegetables, me boiling pasta. She puts on music, something acoustic and mellow. We don't talk much, but it doesn't feel awkward. It feels easy, like we've done this 100 times before. When we sit down to eat, she tells me more about her job, about how exhausting it is to always be on brand, to constantly create content, to measure everything by engagement metrics. "I used to love it," she says, twirling pasta on her fork, "but now it just feels hollow, like I'm shouting into a void and hoping someone shouts back. Do you want to do something else?" "I don't know what else I'd do." She shrugs. "This is what I went to school for. It's what I'm good at, but it doesn't make me happy anymore." I nod. "I get that. Do you?" She looks at me, curious. "Are you happy with your work?" I think about it. I don't know if happy is the right word. It's steady, reliable. It doesn't ask too much of me, but it also doesn't give me much either. It's just there. "Sounds like we're both stuck," she says quietly. "Maybe. Or maybe we're just figuring it out." She smiles at that. I like that better. As the weeks go on, she opens up more, tells me about her family, how her mom calls every Sunday and asks when she's going to settle down, how her dad is quieter but has the same expectations, how she feels like she's constantly being measured against some invisible standard she'll never meet. "They love me," she says one night as we're sitting on her couch, mugs of tea in hand. "I know they do, but sometimes it feels like their love comes with conditions." "What kind of conditions?" "That I'm successful, that I'm with someone, that I don't know, complete somehow, like I'm not enough on my own. I don't say anything right away. Just let her sit with it. I spent so long trying to be what everyone else wanted, she continues, her voice softer now. I forgot what I wanted. What do you want? I ask. She looks at me, and for a moment she doesn't answer. Then quietly, I want to stop feeling like I have to prove something. You don't, I say. Not to me. Her eyes get a little glassy, but she blinks it back. Thank you. I reach over and take her hand. She doesn't pull away, just holds on. Another night she tells me about her ex. We're sitting on a bench by the reservoir, watching the sunset. She's been quieter than usual, and I can tell something's been on her mind. I was with someone for 3 years, she says finally. It ended about a year ago. You don't have to talk about it if you don't want to. No, I think I need to. She takes a breath. He wasn't a bad person, not in the obvious ways, but he was controlling, subtle about it. He'd question where I was going, who I was with, made me feel like I had to check in constantly, and if I didn't, he'd get upset, say I didn't care about him. I stay quiet, just listening. I thought that was normal, she continues. I thought that's what relationships were supposed to be like. But after a while, I started to feel smaller, like I was disappearing. How'd you get out? My friend, the one who made the dating profile. She smiles faintly. She told me I deserved better, and eventually I believed her, so I left. But it took me a long time to feel okay again, to trust that I wasn't broken. You're not broken, I say. She looks at me. How do you know? Because you're here, because you keep showing up. That takes strength. Her hand finds mine, and we sit there in the fading light, not saying anything, just being. By the time a month has passed, we've built something I didn't expect. It's not fireworks or grand gestures. It's small moments, shared meals, quiet mornings, inside jokes that make her laugh in the middle of a hard day. She starts spending more time at my place, brings her laptop over and works from my couch while I'm out on jobs. I come home and find her there, glasses on, typing away, her cat curled up beside her. I'm more productive here, she says one evening, not looking up from her screen. Your place is quiet. You're always welcome, I tell her, and I mean it. One Sunday, we drive out to a farmer's market. She buys fresh bread and honey. I grab some coffee beans. We walk through the stalls, her arm looped through mine, and it hits me how normal this feels. How right. I like this, she says as we're driving back. The market? No. She shakes her head, smiling. This, us, I like how easy it is. Yeah, I say, me too. That night, we're sitting on my couch, some movie playing in the background that neither of us are really watching. She leans her head on my shoulder. Thank you, she says quietly. For what? For not trying to fix me, for just being here. I press a kiss to the top of her head. I'm not going anywhere. And in that moment, I know she believes me. Things are good for a while, really good. We settle into a rhythm that feels sustainable. Weekends together, weeknights when we can manage it. Texts throughout the day that make me smile at random moments. She seems lighter, laughs more easily. The tension I saw in her that first day at the coffee shop has mostly faded. But then her mom calls. It's a Sunday afternoon. We're at my place making lunch. She's chopping tomatoes while I stir pasta sauce on the stove. Her phone buzzes on the counter. She glances at the screen, and I see her whole body tense. You okay? I ask. It's my mom. She stares at the phone like it's a live grenade. I should probably take this. Go ahead. She steps out onto the small balcony, sliding the door mostly closed behind her. I can't hear the words, but I can hear the tone. Her voice going from calm to defensive, then quieter, almost pleading. The call lasts maybe 10 minutes. When she comes back in, her face is tight. Everything all right? I ask carefully. Yeah, fine. But she's not looking at me. She goes back to the cutting board, but her movements are sharper now, distracted. I turn off the stove and walk over to her. Hey. She stops, sets down the knife. She wants to meet you. Okay. No, you don't understand. She shakes her head. She wants to meet you because she thinks this is getting serious, and she needs to know if you're the right kind of person. The right kind of person? Someone with ambition, plans, a career trajectory. She says it like she's quoting directly. She asked what you do for work, and when I told her, she just went quiet. That kind of quiet that says everything. I feel a knot form in my stomach, but I keep my voice even. What do you want? I don't know. She runs her hands through her hair, frustrated. I just want her to trust that I know what I'm doing, but she doesn't. She never has. I reach for her hand. You don't have to defend me to her, but I want to. Her eyes are glassy now. Because you're good, and you're kind, and you make me feel like I can actually breathe for the first time in years. But none of that matters to her if you're not checking the right boxes. Then maybe the boxes are wrong. She looks at me, and for a moment I think she's going to agree, but then she just pulls away gently. I need some air. She grabs her keys and leaves. I hear her car start, then the sound fading down the street. She doesn't come back that night. The next few days are different. She still texts, but the messages are shorter. She cancels our Wednesday dinner, says she's swamped with work. I believe her, but there's something else underneath it. Distance. By the end of the week, she finally agrees to meet up. We go back to the park, the same one we walked through that second time. But this time it doesn't feel easy. It feels heavy. I'm sorry, she says as we walk. I've been in my head. I know. My mom keeps pushing. She wants me to bring you to dinner next month. She's already making comments about how I need to think about my future, about stability, about what kind of life I want. And what do you want? I want her to stop making me feel like I'm failing. Her voice cracks. I want to stop feeling like I have to justify every decision I make. I want to just be happy. But every time I talk to her, I start questioning everything. Including this? I ask quietly. She stops walking. Looks at me. No, not you, never you. Then what? I don't know. She wraps her arms around herself. I just feel like I'm being pulled in two directions, and I don't know how to make everyone happy. You can't, I say. You can only make yourself happy. But what if I don't know how to do that? I step closer, take her hands. Then we figure it out, together. She leans into me and I hold her while she cries. Right there on the path, with joggers passing by and the sun starting to set. I don't say anything else. I just stay. That weekend, things come to a head. Her mom calls again. This time, I'm there when it happens. We're at her apartment watching a movie when her phone rings. She looks at me, hesitant. Answer it, I say. She does. Puts it on speaker. Her mom's voice fills the room, polite but firm, asking how she's doing, if she's eaten, if she's been taking care of herself. Then, inevitably, the questions turn to me. So, when do I get to meet this man you've been spending all your time with? Soon, Mom. You've been saying that for weeks. There's an edge now. I just want to make sure you're being smart about this. You know how you can be. Jumping into things without thinking them through. I see her jaw tighten. That's not fair. I'm not trying to be unfair, sweetheart. I just want what's best for you. And I need to know that he's serious. That he has goals, that he's not just what? Her voice is sharper now. There's a pause on the other end. You know what I mean. No, Mom. Say it. Another pause. Then quieter. I just don't want you to settle. The words land like a punch. She closes her eyes, takes a breath. I have to go. Sweetheart. I'll call you later. She hangs up. Sits there in silence, staring at the phone in her hand. I don't know what to say, so I just wait. She thinks I'm settling, she says finally, her voice hollow. She thinks you're not enough. Do you think that? I ask. No. She looks at me and there are tears streaming down her face now. But what if she's right? What if I'm just running away from the life I'm supposed to have? What if this is just me being scared? Is that what this feels like to you? I ask gently. Being scared? No. She shakes her head. It feels like the first time I felt safe in years. Then that's your answer. She breaks down. I move to the couch, pull her into my arms and let her cry. She sobs into my chest. Deep, heaving sobs that sound like they've been trapped inside her for a long time. I'm so tired, she says between breaths. I'm so tired of trying to be what everyone else wants. Then stop, I whisper. You don't owe anyone that. She clings to me, and I hold her until the shaking stops, until her breathing slows, until she finally falls asleep against me, exhausted. I stay awake, staring at the ceiling, thinking about everything she said, about her mom's words, about the weight she's been carrying, and I make a decision. I'm not going anywhere, no matter what. She wakes up around midnight, still on the couch, her head on my chest. For a moment, she's disoriented. Then she remembers. I feel her tense slightly. I'm sorry, she murmurs, sitting up and rubbing her eyes. I didn't mean to fall apart like that. You don't need to apologize. She looks at me in the dim light from the kitchen. I don't know what to do. About your mom? About everything. She pulls her knees up to her chest. I keep thinking, what if she's right? What if I'm making a mistake? What if I'm choosing the easy thing instead of the right thing? I shift to face her fully. Do you think this is easy? What? This. Us. Do you think this is the easy choice? She's quiet for a moment. No, it's not easy. It's actually really hard. Because it means standing up to everyone who has an opinion about my life. It means disappointing people I love. It means choosing myself for once, and I don't know if I'm allowed to do that. You are, I say firmly. You're absolutely allowed to do that. But what if I'm wrong? Then you're wrong. But at least you'll be wrong on your own terms, living your life, not someone else's version of it. She stares at me, eyes red and tired. You really believe that? I do. She takes a shaky breath. I need to call her back. I need to tell her. You don't have to do it tonight. No, I do. Because if I wait, I'll talk myself out of it. She picks up her phone, hesitates, then dials. It rings 3 times before her mom answers, voice groggy. Sweetheart, it's late. Is everything okay? I need to say something, and I need you to listen. There's a pause. Okay. She glances at me, and I give her a small nod. She takes a breath. I know you want what's best for me. I know you're worried, but I'm happy, Mom. For the first time in a really long time, I'm actually happy, and I need you to trust that I know what I'm doing. But please, just listen. Her voice is steady now. He's not what you expected. I get that. But he's kind. He's steady. He makes me feel safe, and I don't need him to have some big career or impressive title. I just need him to be who he is, and that's enough for me. There's a long silence on the other end. I'm not asking for your permission, she continues. I'm just asking you to trust me, to believe that I'm capable of making my own choices, even if they're not the ones you would make. More silence. Then finally, her mom speaks, and her voice is softer. I just don't want you to get hurt. I know, but you have to let me live my life, even if it means I make mistakes. Is he there? Her mom asks quietly. She looks at me. Yes. Can I talk to him? My heart skips, but I nod. She hands me the phone. Hello? I say. Hi. Her mom's voice is cautious. I'm sorry we're meeting like this. It's okay. I need to know something. Are you serious about my daughter? I don't hesitate. Yes, ma'am, I am. Because if you hurt her, I'm not going to hurt her. I interrupt gently. I'm not going anywhere. I'm here. For as long as she wants me to be. There's another pause. She sounds different when she talks about you. Lighter. She makes me feel the same way. I hear her exhale. Okay, I'll try. I can't promise I'll understand everything, but I'll try. That's all we're asking. Take care of her. I will. I hand the phone back. She takes it, says a quiet goodbye, and hangs up. For a moment, we just sit there in the silence. Then she starts crying again. But this time it's different. Not the heavy, broken sobs from earlier. These are quieter, relieved. I can't believe I just did that, she says, laughing through the tears. You did. I actually did. I pull her close again. I'm proud of you. She wraps her arms around me, holds on tight. Thank you for staying, for not running when things got hard. I told you, I say quietly. I'm not going anywhere. She pulls back just enough to look at me. Her face inches from mine. I choose this. I choose you. You're sure? I've never been more sure of anything in my life. I kiss her, soft and slow, and for the first time in weeks, I feel her fully relax, like she's finally let go of the weight she's been carrying. We stay on that couch for the rest of the night, wrapped up in each other, talking about nothing and everything. She tells me about places she wants to go, things she wants to try. I tell her I'm up for all of it. We don't have to have it all figured out, I say at some point, her head resting on my shoulder. No, we just have to keep showing up, for each other. She tilts her head up to look at me. That sounds good to me. And just like that, something shifts. The fear, the doubt, the pressure, it doesn't disappear completely, but it's lighter now, manageable, because we're carrying it together. 6 months later, we're sitting at the same coffee shop where we had our first date. Same table by the window. Same order. Black coffee for me, black with 2 sugars for her. It's become our Saturday morning routine. We don't always talk about anything important. Sometimes we just sit, read, exist in the same space. Today she's scrolling through her laptop working on a freelance project. A couple of months ago she finally left her marketing job. It wasn't dramatic. No big blowout, no burning bridges. She just realized she needed something different. Something that felt more like hers. Now she takes on projects she actually cares about. Works from home most days, sets her own hours. She's still figuring it out, but she seems happier, calmer. "What are you smiling about?" she asks, glancing up at me. "Nothing, just thinking." About how different you look now, compared to that first day. She closes her laptop, leans back in her chair. Different how? Lighter, like you're not carrying as much. She considers that. "I think you're right. I still have bad days. My mom still makes comments sometimes, but it doesn't hit the same way anymore." "What changed?" "I stopped trying to make everyone else happy." She reaches across the table, takes my hand. "I just focused on what made me happy, and that made all the difference." I squeeze her hand. "Good." We finish our coffee and head out. It's one of those perfect fall mornings. Cool air, clear sky, leaves just starting to turn. We walk to the park, the same one we've walked a dozen times now. The path is familiar, comfortable. "My mom wants us to come for Thanksgiving," she says as we walk. Yeah, she's been better. Still asks a lot of questions, but she's trying. I think she's starting to get it. "And your dad?" "He likes you, says you're solid," which, coming from him, is high praise. I laugh. "I'll take it." "You don't have to come if you don't want to. I know family stuff can be—" "I want to," I interrupt. "If you want me there, I'm there." She smiles. "I want you there." We keep walking, her arm looped through mine. A dog runs past us chasing a tennis ball. A couple jogs by, earbuds in, lost in their own world. It's just another Sunday, just another walk. And that's what I love about it. Later that afternoon, we're back at my place. She's on the couch with her cat, who somehow decided my apartment is now his second home. I'm in the kitchen making sandwiches. She's watching something on her laptop, laughing at a video her friend sent her. "Hey!" she calls out. "Come look at this." I walk over, sandwich in hand. She turns the screen toward me. It's a photo from that first coffee date. Her friend took it from across the cafe without us knowing. We're both leaning forward, mid-conversation, completely absorbed. "I forgot she took this," she says softly. "You look nervous," I observe. "I was terrified." She laughs. "I thought you were going to think I was insane." "I kind of did." I grin, but in a good way. She elbows me playfully, then looks back at the photo. "I'm glad I didn't leave." "Me too." She closes the laptop, shifts so she's facing me. "You know what I realized the other day?" "What?" "I used to think love was supposed to feel like fireworks, like this big, overwhelming thing that sweeps you off your feet. But this," she gestures between us, "this feels different. It feels steady, safe, like coming home." "Is that a bad thing?" "No." She shakes her head. "It's the best thing." I set my sandwich down, pull her close. She rests her head on my chest and we just sit there for a while. The TV is on in the background, playing something neither of us are watching. The cat is purring between us. Outside, the afternoon light is starting to fade. It's not perfect. We still have hard days. She still struggles with her family's expectations. I still wonder sometimes if I'm doing enough, being enough. But we talk about it. We work through it. We show up for each other. And that's what matters. That night, as we're getting ready for bed, she stops in the doorway of the bathroom, toothbrush in hand. "Hey," she says. "Yeah? Thank you for everything. You don't have to thank me." "I know, but I want to." She smiles. "You didn't just stay. You made me believe I was worth staying for." I walk over to her, brush a strand of hair behind her ear. "You've always been worth it. I just helped you see it." She kisses me, soft and slow, then pulls back with that same smile I saw in the coffee shop 6 months ago, the one that told me she was finally starting to believe. We finish getting ready, climb into bed. She curls up against me, her breathing already starting to slow. I stare at the ceiling for a moment, thinking about everything that's happened, about how a joke turned into something real, about how 2 people who were both a little lost somehow found each other. And I realize that's all love really is. Not fireworks, not grand gestures, just two people choosing each other, every single day. She came as a joke, but she stayed as the truth. And that's the only story that matters.